Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to a match reaction show. It's finished Barcelona 2, Cadiz nil. It's a hard fought win. You look at that scoreline, you might think it was routine, it was comfortable. It was not. It was absolutely a slog. It was a slog for Barcelona. Went all the way into the last, 10 minutes or so of the game, and they finally, broke the deadlock. Cadiz came in with the game plan, and for about 80 minutes, they absolutely executed it to perfection. It was all about making sure that they were compact, they were tight, they didn't allow any of the players to get any kind of space, and they kept maintain their shape. And every time they counter, they would counter quickly, but then also make sure that they came back very, very fast to again get back into shape. So it was really, really a slog for Barcelona. There was a lot of passages to play, and it wasn't really about just like tight defensive football. When I say tight, it was very, very structural, but also Cadiz had a few chances of their own, which if they had taken one of them, particularly in the second half, and I think Roger Marti and I think Alex Fernandez, they had that opportunity where Marti, I think, kind of got dragged a little bit wide, and at that point that chance went away, but it was 2-on-2 for a moment. If he had taken that, things would have been different for Cadiz, but ultimately it's about those fine margins, and it's about those clinical finishes, and Cadiz didn't have it, and Barcelona didn't have it either. But just the number of the volume of chances that they were creating, they were more likely to take one than Cadiz. So ultimately, Barcelona took the first chance, and then they got the second one, which they took, and it gave it a nice little score line feel of 2-0. But it was a slog. And what will worry Barcelona? Would have worried. I mean, if there have been 2 draws to start the season, that might have been a worry. So getting 3 points is obviously good, but there are obvious points of worry. And I think the biggest point of worry for me, it might also be seen as a positive, because I thought Yamal was excellent throughout this game. For what he played, he was very, very good. But every time when Barcelona looked like Barcelona ran out of ideas, so they were like, just pass it to Yamal, let him do something, let him do something. That is not how you win games. You can't put that kind of pressure on somebody so young, on somebody of the of Yamal's quality. You can't put somebody in that kind of pressure for a 16-year-old to come in and say, yeah, go score a goal or do something, make something happen. And in credit to him, he took that on. He didn't shy away from it, but you can't put that kind of pressure on a youngster. And Barcelona just seemed to intend on doing that with him. But that being said, I thought Yamal had a good debut. I keep saying Lamal. Actually, it's Yamal, isn't it? It's Lamine Yamal, not Yamin Lamal. Anyway, Yamal. But Yamal had a very good debut. I thought it was very, very good. I criticized this last week where I said that the announcers or the commentators were trying to hype this kid up too much, and he was trying to put too much pressure on a player like that. You don't do that. And again, it continued this week as well. But again, they were trying to put pressure on him and trying to act like as if, because it's easy to make those comparisons to Lionel Messi, but let him have his own journey, let him have his own experience in his own career, rather than trying to saddle him with the expectations of becoming another Messi. It just creates unnecessary pressure, unnecessary hype on a 16-year-old. Keep pointing this out. He's only 16 years old. He's only just starting out his career. Let him develop, let him grow, let him learn, let him make mistakes, let him succeed. It's but unfortunately it seems like the commentators didn't get the memo. But nonetheless, I thought it was a good debut. He was not world class, obviously, because there were chances where he could have done better and he didn't. But that's what he is. He's 16. He's going to learn. He's going to develop. It's a solid 7.5 out of 10 performance. That's what it was. Probably the extra half is because Barcelona kept putting that pressure on him to try to create something rather than doing it on their own. And to me, that is a big, big concern as well, as to how you can rely on somebody like that. Or somebody so young to try and to rather than the expensive stars that you assembled. Which brings me to the second big concern point, which is Robert Lewandowski. I honestly believe that Robert Lewandowski needs a break. I think he needs to be dropped for a game, maybe 2, just to make him realize that he's not undroppable, that he's got to get his levels back up. Because at the moment, he looks like a passenger in that team, and it's almost like he's waiting for other people to do something and then latch on to it at the towards the end of the move. He's not as dynamic as he used to be. He's not as enterprising as he used to be. And I just feel maybe he needs to be dropped for a game or maybe 2, just to kind of get him to motivate him a bit, motivate him a bit to go, you've got to work harder if you want to start for Barcelona, and that you can't take your place for granted. I would do that, but it's a big concern, his lack of goals. It's not just the fact that he's not scoring goals. It's almost like he doesn't look confident that he's going to score a goal. There was a chance for him where it fell to him. He had a little bit of a gap, and then he took 3 touches, and the chance is gone, which is very unlike him. Because yes, it can take 1 touch, maybe to sort his feet out, but it took him 2 or 3 touches to sort his feet out. It doesn't happen. So I just feel like that needs to happen. Again, the question is who replaces him is another point. But I think he needs dropping for a game or 2, not as a permanent benching, but just a game, just to kind of tell him, look, your place is under threat. It's not that you can just start no matter what. But that being said, Barcelona did score the goal, and the goal came from a wonderful run from Pedri. I was initially going to give the credit to Gundogan for that nice pass, because that pass was really good. But actually, it's Pedri who makes it happen, because his run from out to in is very, very good, and I think it drags a couple of defenders out of shape. It also means that some certain defenders don't know where. I think Hernandez in particular doesn't know whether he should go with his marker, whether he should stay on where he is, and that kind of indecision allows Gundogan to have that little bit of extra space where he can put the pass through. And Pedri, to his credit, continues his run. He doesn't make the pass and admire it. He continues his run, which is what was needed. Because if he had just made that pass and stood, then nothing would have happened. But because he continued his run, Gundogan was able to find him, and it's a good finish. Maybe the goalkeeper perhaps got a little bit, panicked. I think he panicked a little bit in trying to come out too fast, because the shot isn't one that can't be saved. But because he comes out, it makes it a lot more easier. The angle, is on Pedri's side, because the goalkeeper rushes out too quickly, maybe. And I thought the goalkeeper had a really good game. And so this was just a matter of Ledesma had a very good game. But just with that one moment of panic kind of, cost them in the end. But that being said, I mean, Barcelona probably on the balance of play deserved the win. You don't get what you deserve in football, but I think they deserve the win just because they were the better, they were the more attacking, the more imaginative side, as opposed to Cadiz, who I think were trying to score a goal, but I think they were doing it in a sort of a park the bus and counter sort of way. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just felt Barcelona showed a little bit more desire to win the game than Cadiz did. But that's understandable. Barcelona were at home, Cadiz were not. So you get that. But nonetheless, 2-0 win. I mean, it was important to get the 3 points as well. It's been so long for them that's not scored a goal. You don't want to be going into 2 games 0-0 draws. You want to be winning games, of course, and you want to be scoring goals. So it'll be good for them to get those goals. And maybe this is the spur that kicks them on towards getting more 3 points regularly and start to win games. The team selections was a bit of a headache, wasn't it? When you try to look at Frenkie de Jong and what his positioning was to play at centre back and then try and push into midfield. It was almost, I think, like he was. I think in a way Barcelona were kind of telling Cadiz were playing back three, but actually they were not playing a back three. They're playing a back two. They were basically, it was like a sort of a red herring. You could put it that way, as a red herring or the bait and switch, where they were trying to make it seem like they're playing a back three, but they weren't. That's the only explanation I can come up with. But it was a high line from Barcelona, and it's interesting that they played a back three. But at the same time, I don't know if they'll be doing that more regularly. But for a long time, it didn't quite work. So I think that with that. But nonetheless, a good win for Barcelona. 3 points. That's the most important thing, as we always say. Performances are important as well, but getting the results matter more. And that it could just be the spark that lights the fire. So let's see what happens. Anyway, congratulations to Barcelona. I think man of the match would have to be Yamal, wouldn't it? You could give it to Pedri for the goal, but I think it's got to be Yamal, just because 16. For me, it's going to be Yamal, because I mean, for someone so young to come into this, to be thrown straight in the deep end, to be trusted with the burden of being the main creative source as well, whether intentionally or not. That's what happened to him on the pitch. He was basically the guy that everybody's looking at to create something. And to handle those expectations and to put in such a good performance, I think he deserves man of the match. So for me, he's man of the match. It's much like if Yamal is your man of the match as well. I got his name wrong today, but I'm sure in time I will not be getting his name wrong. I'll know exactly what his name is. I think we will all know his name very, very well. So it's much like for him, it's much like for Barcelona. Do share your thoughts on the game, comments on the performance, of course, and what do you think was different? Maybe you agree with me, disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. Always love to hear from you guys. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Always appreciate your support as well. Got a lot of videos that we've done in the last couple of days, so do check them out after this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.